Hey, I'm not a sissy or a mom's boy.
And I don't do figure eight.
Or wear tights.
Or cry when I don't win.
I do know Elvis, Kurt, and Brian from Canada, and they are really, really nice.
I have judges.
Not linesmen.
I wear a costume.
Not a uniform.
And it's called dancing.
Not prancing.
I proudly look back at Canada's history in this great sport. I believe in quadruple toe loops, not triple overtime, triple axels, not double minors.
An artistic impression is a truly proud and noble pursuit. A Lutz is a jump, and a camel is a spin.
And a 6.0 means perfection.
Until they change the judging system.
He throws me, not the ball.
There's no helmet or pad, but yes, it definitely is a sport.
I am a figure skater.
And I am at Canadians!
The tradition of pairs skating in Canada is obviously a very amazing one. We got pairs going back since the beginning of skating history.
We have a legacy in pair, and we're trying to keep it up and, keep improving the lifts and the twists and, bring the whole aspect of pairs that all the others did.
Tonight, a new era begins as we crown a new Canadian pairs champion. Welcome to Saskatchewan and the 2003 BMO Financial Group Canadian Championships, where the temperature in Saskatoon tonight, around -23. Some brave souls out there, but it's warm in the rink. Big crowd on hand to watch Friday night at the Canadians. And hi, everybody. Welcome to Saskatoon. I'm Dave Randorf. The pairs competition is the focus tonight, as the first medals of these 2003 championships will be handed out. In the pairs competition, we've seen runs recently by the likes of Brasseur and Eisler, Menzies and Bombardier, Wirtz and Wirtz, and of course Soleil and Pelche. Tonight, a new Canadian pairs champ will look to begin a run of their own right here in Saskatoon. The pairs free skate coming up later this evening. We should tell you the original dance was held here earlier today. Shaylin Bourne and Victor Kratz are the story. The 9-time Canadian champions in their final season together looked razor sharp today, and they're in first place, as you see. We will show you the original dance tomorrow night on CTV, because tonight we focus on the pairs and the men. The short program is up first as Emmanuel Sandou looks to take another step towards his second national title, so sit back and relax, folks. 2 hours straight ahead for you on the network this evening, and we begin by taking you upstairs to Rod Black and Tracy Wilson.
Well, thank you, Dave, and good evening, everybody. And yes, Tracy Wilson, a new era in pairs will begin, but a new era in men's skating as well, and everybody is ready to hand this era to Emmanuel Sandou. It won't be that easy. We know about his consistency or inconsistency. However, you've seen a different Emmanuel this week.
Well, I don't want to jump the gun, but I have seen a different Emmanuel in practice. He's looked disciplined and focused and very well trained. So if he skates well today, it will not be an accident. It will be that he has worked hard and deserves it.
And he worked hard earlier this week in qualification. The quadruple jump in combination, the only quad in the field, landed successfully. He's the leader in his group. Behind him, tied for third place, Fedor Andreev. Loads of potential as well, but he has failed to deliver the last couple of years and lived up to the expectations heaped on him. And I think that's really a big word we're going to use a lot this week, is expectations. Sandou, the leader in his group, Andreev second, Jason Denomé third, Sean Sawyer in fourth place.
In the men's qualifying Group B, Jeffrey Buttle is sitting in first place. And remember, it was Jeffrey's strong showing at the World Championships last year that has earned Canada 2 spots at the World Championships this year. And he plans to take one of those spots.
2 spots available, and sitting again in second place in his qualification group, a guy who has also had some international experience, Ben Ferreira, so he is technically tied for third. 20% of the final mark from qualification And tonight, 30% for the short program, 50% for the free skate. Now, you mentioned Jeff Buttle, and he was the Rocket Man last year, the Rookie of the Year. It's been an indifferent season for Jeff Buttle because he's been trying to experiment with the quadruple jump, which is a very difficult jump.
Very difficult jump, and he is taking a risk for it.
And there is a lot of question as to whether he will try to use that jump this week. He could probably go to the World Championships without the quad here, but
it's not the same without a quad. You can't consider yourself a Canadian champion without, you know, going out and doing what the world champions can do, because, you know, that's really what we have in mind. So I'm not going to be watering down my program at all.
After last year's Worlds, we know definitely we need the quad, if not two. So this year we had decided that we were going for the quad in both the short and long, regardless of the outcome, and that we were definitely going to be trying it at every competition. And that's exactly the same strategy that we took with the axle. You might hit a couple, you might miss a couple, but in the long run, it's going to be there when it counts.
Well, he has risked a good result this season because he has not landed the quad in competition. It is more consistent in practice. I saw him land one just yesterday, so hopefully the risk will pay off soon for Jeffrey. The key, though, is if he misses the quad, he has to execute the other elements well. Remember, this is a short program. Any mistakes in the skaters are deducted. His other 7 elements are very, very strong, and they can hold him in the competition with one major mistake.
Should be a very interesting night here in Saskatoon, watching these young men. And speaking of young, coming up, Canada's junior champion last year makes the jump to the senior ranks. The men next on CTV. A year ago, he was Canada's junior champion. On ice for his short program, here is Sean Sawyer from Edmundston, New Brunswick.
My goals for this week as the junior men champion last year is to prove that I'm ready to be senior, that I'm going to give 100%, go out there and do the best I can.
Tracy Wilson, this kid, who will be 18 in 4 days, has got the stuff.
Sean mentioned he's going to give 100%. He's got to, though, focus and reel himself in when it comes to the jump. He can't overdo it. He is powerful, dynamic skater. Skating to Irma from Cirque du Soleil. The triple axel, and here it comes. Oh, yes! Light touchdown with his free leg, but that's okay. He'll take it. Now the triple Lutz. Footwork now into his final jump, triple flip. He's skating well. He's got natural line and speed. And he's showing us he likes to compete.
And he's a showman. He electrified the crowd last year. Remember the Parade of Champions at the Nationals? He has to be very happy with this. That is what it's all about at the Nationals. What a moment for last year's junior champion. Welcome to the senior rank, Sean Sawyer. His marks from Saskatoon in a moment. Sean Sawyer during commercial just said it felt good. It looked good too, Sean, from northern New Brunswick, Edmundston, near the Quebec border. Nice arrival to the senior scene.
He's now training in Ottawa with Coach Gordon Forbes, a three-time bronze medalist at Canadians in the 80s. Here's his effort on the triple axel. He's happy with it. As junior man moving up into the senior ranks, it was a good attempt, but he will be penalized, 0.2.3, for touching down his free foot. He's also working with Canadian champions Lynn Nightingale, Brian Orser on his choreography.
It's a pretty good team.
He's in good hands.
Yes. And I think he's going to get pretty good marks here. Some skaters have already been on the ice, but Sean Sawyer, for the moment, moves into first place. Required elements marks. And again, everybody talks about the quad, but you still have to master the triple axel. He is one of those skaters still mastering it. And if you're going to work with anybody, work with Brian Orser.
He also has it, you know, that quality, that star quality, and a bright future for Sean Sawyer.
Thank you.
And on the ice, another one of the members of Team New Brunswick. In fact, only two of them. Sean Sawyer and another former junior champion of Canada, 1998, the year that Hugh Yick became the junior champion. A year earlier, he was the novice champion. It was the first time that anybody had leapt from novice to junior and won both titles in 20 years. However, he hasn't had the same success on the senior level.
Well, he was injured severely after he won his title in junior. So severely, they thought the injury to his hip was career-ending. He missed a full year off the ice. He came back slowly for a season, and his recovery was so touchy. He had a doctor helping him get back on the ice and guarding that hip. So he has had a couple of low finishes at the Canadian Championships at the senior level, 11th and then 13th last year. But his coach, Doug Lee, has said he now has the confidence in his body. His injury is healed, and we've seen some great skating in practice. Here's you, and he's skating to a Hungarian dance. His first jump is key. His most difficult jump, it's a triple axel. Nope, popped it in the air. You could see it holding back on the takeoff. He's got to attack. Triple combination, opening with a triple flip. Triple toe.
There we go.
Great spring to his jump. And look at his long lines. They remind me of Robin Cousins, world champion from Great Britain. Slow and careful on his footwork. He's going to have to work on his speed there. Hang on.
is able to hang on.
Now, good speed on this footwork sequence. He needs to maintain that throughout his program. He's capable.
Well, we get a double whammy from New Brunswick to start our show. A couple of junior champions from the Maritimes back-to-back, Sean Sawyer and Hugh Yick. He missed the triple axel but made practically everything else.
He's got some fine qualities. His ice coverage is quite spectacular, and if he could maintain his speed throughout his performance, that will certainly help him in the marks. He is a springy jumper. Watch how he gets down in his knees and up in the air, a solid landing there, and enough speed to put a triple on the end, a very difficult combination in the triple flip and triple toe. He will not be happy that he did not at least go after the triple axel. He held back, and this, his triple Lutz, at the end of the program, he was just a little bit back on his heel. He couldn't get the free leg out and around to save him on that landing.
Well, nothing is ever etched in stone in skating, no matter what you do. Even if you win a novice and junior championship, injuries can pop up. There are struggles. It's not easy to make the next step. Fortunes can change. The year that Hugh Yick won the junior title, Jeff Buttle was in second place in the juniors that year. And right now, Jeff Buttle is considered among the top 3 in Canada right now.
Hugh Yick is well on his way back. He works with Doug Lee and also Coach Robert Tebby in Mariposa, and they have said the important thing for him now is he finally has confidence in his body. He knows his body's healthy, so he's not kind of holding back and second-guessing what it can take. So, with a healthy body for Hugh Yick, anything's possible.
Sean Sawyer is the leader. Hugh Yick's marks look like they're going to put him behind Sawyer, as they were in the qualification group.
Well, his technical or required element marks have to be low because of the deduction, and you can see here in the presentation marks, all in the 5s. Very good for Hugh.
So, still ahead, Emmanuel Sandhu seeking a second national title. He is the guy to beat here tonight in the short program. That's ahead. Final flight for the men's short program is 6 men on sked, including Emmanuel Sandhu. The women were on ice last night. The short program disappointing for the locals here. Nicole Watt, the young Saskatchewan star, finishing 9th. Even more disappointment tonight. We have learned that Nicole Watt has now pulled out.
Well, I guess after the short program, I went to my doctor. He looked at my knee, and then he looked at it again today, and we sort of made the decision this morning that it'd be in my best interest not to continue, just because I stand a good chance of really having severe injury sort of to the knee, and also it's just not allowing me to do what I want to do, and it's not allowing me to skate the way I can. So I didn't want to go out there and, you know, not be able to skate my best.
No one wanted to skate more here than Nicole Watt. A flare-up of her juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and her left knee just could not hold up, and it showed last night, Tracy.
A tough decision for Nicole, but when you're physically unable to do your best, it's no fun being out there competing.
Here's the men. Emmanuel Sandhu, a Canadian champion a couple of years ago when Elvis Stojko had to withdraw because of injury. Stojko no longer around. Jason Deneme will skate last, and now Emmanuel Sandhu has said, "This is my era. I can grab the torch." A great lineage of men's skating, from Donald Jackson to Toller Cranston to Brian Orser to Kurt Browning to Elvis Stojko. And will the new era be Emmanuel Sandhu's? Everyone who watches this sport knows he has the talent.
He had a shaky warm-up, as did all of the men. Nerves were definitely apparent here. Emmanuel now settling in his short program to the music, Crazy Benny. Emmanuel, one of 3 skaters with a quad planned. Here comes his quad toe in combination.
So now even more importance on the triple axel.
He's tight. You can see it in his shoulders, carrying them very high. Here's the triple axel.
Cannot miss another element here, Tracy.
Here comes the triple Lutz. And that for him was a squeaky jump. Not the height that he normally has. Here, the beautiful camel spin into a back camel, straight line and a good speed.
Well, it will be the strength of the presentation mark that will have to hold Emmanuel Sandhu up, because he missed the quad and he missed the axle. There will be deductions, but his degree of difficulty is still much higher than anybody else in the field.
The overall quality of Emmanuel's elements is superb, but 0.9 deductions for the mistake on the jump. We'll see his marks when we come back.
Well, what is becoming more and more predictable, the unpredictability of Emmanuel Sandhu.
Well, you hate to see a skater who appeared to be well-trained and disciplined coming in here. You hate to see him not be rewarded with a good skate, but it just didn't come that easily for Emmanuel. Carrying a lot of tension high up in the shoulders. He wasn't centered. No chance on the landing of that jump, and then you could see he just got tighter and tighter. Look at his shoulders up there in the axle. At least he went for it. But, you know, for Emmanuel, that was a sluggish performance. He really just worked it to try and get it out. He didn't flow, and he wasn't comfortable like Emmanuel Sandhu can be. I mean, he normally can fly around the ice. Great footwork. This is the overall quality of the elements that we were talking about, Rod, and he will receive high marks for that. 0.4 on each fall, though, in the jump.
We have seen a different Emmanuel Sandhu the last couple of months, more focused, more prepared, more confident, more willing to fight. I think a key for Sandhu, however, is to get that first element. If he gets that out of the starting blocks, he usually has a much better skate. If he struggles at the beginning, it's like a harbinger for the rest of the performance.
You tend to start trying and overthinking, and you just don't go on your natural rhythm, which is what you need when you jump.
Now he has to wait to see where he will be heading into the free skate tomorrow night. He's the leader right now, but 5 skaters to come.
Our next competitor representing Alberta, Ben Ferreira.
Including Ben Ferreira. Now, I know, Tracy Wilson, the quadruple jump is in the offing for some of the skaters, including Jeff Buttle, to come, but I wonder if they're receiving word from their coach about Sandhu's struggles and may decide at the last minute, let's not do it, because triples right now could give you very high technical merit marks.
Very difficult, though, for many of these skaters to change on the fly. They've trained with the quad opening their program. I'm pretty sure Ben Ferreira is going to stick with his game plan. Let's see if he's going to do a quad. Here it comes. Oh, quad toe with a step-out double toe.
That was as close as he has come to landing that baby.
A normally consistent triple axel coming up.
Oh.
Yeah. Look at the stretch on his back camel, much improved over the years. In fact, this year, all aspects of his skating have gone up a notch. He's home free.
Well, last year at this time, Ben Ferreira seriously contemplated walking away from this sport. Sat down with Elvis Stojko. Had a serious talk about staying in. I'd say it's a good thing he did. This was one of Ben Ferreira's best nights at the Canadians. How about that?
Ben Ferreira lost his way last year. He tried unsuccessfully to do a quad in competition. Terrible results for him. This year, it's paying off. The judges' marks in just a moment.
And coming up, Jeff Buttle, his clubmate, has quad plan 2. 23-year-old Ben Ferreira, two-time bronze medalist at the Nationals. And very, very close to landing the quadruple jump. He's going to be watching this.
I was thinking the same thing. He's going to want to see this jump. Look.
No! That's exactly like the video one.
Yeah.
You can hear Ben and his coach Michelle Lee in the background discussing the quad and now the axle.
Low, small, small, small. Stay. Bingo.
Now, normally Michelle Lee would be with Doug Lee. Michelle's with Ben right now because Doug's beside the boards getting ready for Jeff Buttle.
Everybody, Barry.
5-2.
Everybody back home.
5-4.
Ben's from Edmonton. Trains now in Barrie. Strong required elements marks.
0.3 deduction for the step out on the quad.
And look at this. Ben Ferreira is going to be the leader. And we still have 4 skaters to come. Emmanuel Sandu is in second place.
Thank you.
And another opening, another opportunity for another Mariposa Club skater. Breakthrough year last year. Jeffrey Buttle struggling with the quad and trying to implement it into his program.
The problem for Jeffrey has been with the quad that when he falls on it, he gets unsettled and makes other mistakes. Now, in the qualifying round, that didn't happen. He missed the quad, came back fighting, and nailed a triple axel. This short program to music from Conspiracy Theory. As it was for Emmanuel and Ben Ferreira, the quad's the first element. Here it comes. Leaning on the takeoff, not a chance.
Crashes into the boards, and now, again, this element is critical coming up.
Here it comes. This is triple axel. 0.3 deduction there as well. Footwork now into his triple lutz. Jeffrey Buttle has some of the best choreography in the business. Works with David Wilson. And there, another deduction on the footwork. It is so hard to put a mistake at the beginning of the program behind you.
Well, what a surprising night so far. The two highest-ranked skaters in Canada have failed to deliver. Emmanuel Sandou and Jeff Buttle, their program's really awash, both missing the quad and the axle. Buttle having problems at the end. Wow. So the door is open. Ben Ferreira leads. He waits in the background, and we'll be back. Well, Jeff Buttle does not have to be told. And he knows as he waits for his guards. And boy, I'll tell you, Trace, it's going to be interesting heading to the free skate. Some of these skaters that we anticipated being part of surefire candidates for the world team are going to have to skate very well in the free skate.
Well, the risk he took clearly did not pay off in this program. He just did not get up on the quad, and then a nasty slide into the boards, and that's hard to recover. Your timing's off. Now you're rushing, going into your next most difficult element. This is a jump he just started landing in competition last year, the triple axel, and his upper body was rotating ahead of his lower body, and so he couldn't hang on to the landing. Then you think too much, and you tighten up, as Emmanuel Sandou did, and he fell on his footwork, which was a mandatory 0.3 deduction. So you can see these are just awful marks for Jeffrey Buttle, required element.
Before this season began, you would have said he would have been a shoo-in to go to the World Championships. Keep in mind, it's not the top two skaters that necessarily go. Skate Canada will make a decision, but Jeff Buttle clearly has a lot of work to do in the free skate. And let's talk about the risk of that quad.
Well, you have to worry now about what it is doing to Jeffrey Buttle's confidence. Seems to be wearing him down.